Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to Orthaniti School, a platform for sharing views on economics and academic sessions on fundamental economics. Respectable colleagues of economics and my dear students, I want to share with you a new thought which I have in my hand. It is possible to explain income effect and substitution effect by cardinal utility approach. Yes, I have thought about the cardinal utility approach to share with you. Would you lend me some time? Okay. First of all, I must unveil my thought. It is possible to determine income effect and substitution effect by cardinal utility approach, even for inferior good and given good. How? Let me explain. All of us know that Marshallian utility theory is criticized for its unrealistic assumptions of numerical utility and constant marginal utility of money. And another drawback of the theory is that it can't explain income effect and substitution effect. I think it is possible to explain income effect and substitution effect by cardinal utility approach. I think the idea of numerical utility is not wrong at all. If we have a measuring rod and the measuring rod itself be constant, and we know here the measuring rod is money, and also we know the question arises here. We have a solution as well. Let us see. We know at the beginning of a month, a person with his salary in the pocket feels himself rich enough to spend at large and can buy unusual things. But in the ending days of the month, with almost empty pocket, he becomes miser and avoids unnecessary spending. That means money is more valuable and its marginal utility is high to us when it falls short, and its marginal utility is low when it is available to us. So it is obvious the marginal utility of money is not constant. Still, it can be assumed to keep constant for the time being while we are passing with a certain amount of money. Because with a certain amount of money in hand, a person feels alike and thinks alike for every unit of money. If in the line of Marshall's thought, the unit of utility of money is considered to be util. Say, $1 equals to 1 util. We can say that the utility of an ice cream to a person is 3 util if he buys it for $3, and it may fall to 2 util when he wants to pay $2 for it with less money in hand. That is, utility is $2 now equals to utility of $3, because money is more valuable now. This implies that the marginal utility of money varies with the amount of money in hand, but it has a specific value at any level of money in hand. So I think we can keep the marginal utility of money constant at a specific level of money in hand and take it as the measuring rod of utility. Perhaps you are thinking, what new I described here? And may say, merely you are advocating for Marshall. Maybe, but I think I am interpreting Marshall differently. Let's see. Marshall's assumption, utility is measurable with money, and marginal utility of money remains constant. My interpretation, marginal utility of money remains constant at a particular level of money in hand. Marginal utility of money decreases at the level of money in hand increases, and vice versa. And so utility is measurable with money at different level of money in hand. Now I can explain my thought using two tools: marginal utility price ratio curve of the commodity, that means MU by P curves, and marginal utility curve of money. Let us see. According to Marshall, we know a consumer is in equilibrium when MU equals to P into M. Implies that MU by P equals to M, where MU equals to marginal utility of the commodity, P equals to price, M equals to marginal utility of money, that means MU M. For a price fall, MU by P rises because the denominator now is smaller. So MU by P, the results of MU by P rises. And MU by P curves shifts rightward. Let us see in the diagram. This diagram is popular to us. It is very well known. Along the horizontal axis, the quantity of good is measured, and along the vertical axis here, MU by P is measured. Here MX stands for MU by P of good X, and M0 stands for the constant marginal utility of money at a specific level of money in hand. Now, we can consider a fall in price. After a price fall, MU by P rises, and MU by P curves shifts rightward. MX prime X. So far, nothing is new at all. Everything is shown as before. New something starts now. For a price fall, real income or purchasing power increases, and marginal utility of money decreases, as I have already described in my assumptions. As a result, marginal utility curve money shifts downward. Here, MU1 is the marginal utility curve in a different level of money in hand. And it is after a rise in income. So, I mean, clear? Now, we can review the cardinal utility approach. Let marginal utility of money vary with income level and determine income effect plus substitution effect. Here the diagram, and of course here at point E0, MX equals to MU by P0, the initial price, equals to M0, the initial marginal utility of money at level of money in hand. So at initial price P0, equilibrium price quantity equals to OX0. After the price fall from P0 to P1, MU by P curve shifts from MX to MX prime. And at point E1, MX prime equals to MU by P1 equals to M0. Now, new price is P1 and equilibrium quantity equals to X. Here, X0, X1, the distance X0, X1 is defined as the price effect. That means E0, E1 equals to price effect. Now, we can consider the income effect. Considering the income effect, we have the new marginal utility curves below the M0 curves at M1. Or a price fall, income, real income increases, MUM decreases, and MUM curve shifts downward to M1. At point E2, MX equals to MU by P0, the initial at the initial price, MU by P0 equals to M1, a new marginal utility of money, at new level of money in hand. And here the quantity purchased equals to OX2. That means quantity purchase increased by x0 to x2, x0, x2. So income effect equals to x0, x2. Now you can see it in the diagram, x0, x2, the green arrow. For relatively low price, from E2 to E1, quantity purchase increases from OX2 to X1. That means, considering the fall in relative price, income keeping at the level initial stage, the marginality of money curve is M0. And here the equilibrium is at E1. From E2 to E1, this is substitution effect. And the quantity purchase increased by X2, X1. So substitution equals to X2, X1. And here the yellow arrow indicates the income effect. Here X0, X1, the distance X0, X1 equals to X0, X2 plus X2, X1. This implies that price effect equals to income effect plus substitution. So my learned colleagues and my dear students, here I am successful to show that price effect equals to income effect and substitution plus substitution effect with the cardinal utility approach. Now we can see it in the case of inferior good. We know if for a rise in income, the quantity purchased of a good decreases, it is treated as an inferior good. In this case, after a rise in income, total utility as well as marginal utility of the good shrinks to the consumer. Let us see in the diagram. Here, AB indicates the marginal utility curve of a good, and along the curve for Q1 unit, the marginal utility is Q1 E1, and for Q2 unit, the marginal utility is Q2 E2, and total utility equals to OAB area. Now, after a price fall, after a income rise in income. After a rise in income, this may happen after a price fall with higher purchasing power. I am saying that income now higher than before. After a income rise, total utility will shrink to OCD. Here, OCD is now the total utility and CD is the marginal utility curve. Marginal utility curve, CD. And it shows that for Q1 unit, the marginal utility shrinks from E1 to E1 Q1 to F1 Q1. And for Q2 unit, the marginal utility shrinks from E2 to F2 Q2. So it is clear that for inferior good, after a rise in income, total utility as well as marginal utility shrinks downward. And can be considered, it can be taken into account after a price fall. Because after a price fall, real income increases and MUIP decreases. And MUIP decreases means MUIP curve, MUIP may, depends on the fall in the level of the degree of fall in price and the degree of fall in marginal utility. Let us see in the diagram. It is already well known to us. If fall in MU, marginal utility, change in MU is less than fall in price, MUIP increases. fall in MU, if fall in MU is less than fall in price, that means fall in the numerator is less than fall in the denominator. So the ratio will increase. And this is, of course, less than in case of a normal good. So MU curve shifts rightward but less than in case of a normal good. Here the shifting is the red arrow, and MX prime is the new marginal utility by P curve. The shift is smaller than in case of a normal good. For a normal good, the shifts may be higher, rightward from U1. Now, consider another case. If fall in MU is greater than fall in price, that means the fall in the numerator is greater than the fall in the denominator. In this case, MU by P will decrease. MU by P decreases and MU by P curve shifts. MU by P curve shifts leftward. Am I clear? Now we can see it in inferior good case and given good case together with the price effect, income effect, and substitution effect. Let us see in both panel at point E0, M0 equals to MU by P0, the initial price and initial marginal rate of money. And at initial price, quantity purchased equals to OX0 in both panels. Now, after a price fall, real income increases, marginal utility decreases. In panel A, fall in we shall show in panel A, fall in marginal utility is less than fall in price. So MU by P increases and MU by P curve shifts rightward. But in panel B, we shall show that the fall in marginal utility is greater than the fall in price. That means MU by P decreases and MU by P curve shifts leftward. And at point E1 in panel A, quantity purchase goes up from OX0 to OX1. Now, and in panel B, quantity purchase goes down from OX0 to OX. It's clear in panel A, quantity purchase increases by X0, X1. So price effect equals to X0, X1. On the other hand, in panel B, quantity purchased is decreases by X0, X1, which can be written as minus X1, X0, the reverse value of X0, X1. This is price effect in panel. And in this case, we can say that in panel B, the good is given good, because after a price fall, the demand of the good decreases. Now, we shall see the income effect and the substitution effect. To show it, let us consider the marginal utility curve. What happens to it? After a price fall, real income increases, marginal utility of money decreases. So marginal utility curve shifts downward to MU1, both panel. And at the same time, marginal utility shrinks to MU prime, as it is an inferior good. So that only for an increase in real income, considering a price at P0, MU by P curve shifts leftward to M2. Here in panel B, it is. And for the new situation, you can see that price keeping fixed at P0, M2 equals to M prime equals to P0 equals to M1 at point E2. Or quantity purchased equals to OX2. In panel B, it is OX2. And we can see that after real income increase, quantity purchased goes down from OX0 to OX2. OX0 to OX2. This amount we can define as income effect. And income effect equals to X0, X2, which can be written as minus X2, X0, the negative value of X0, X2. So, income effect is negative. That means in both cases, the goods are inferior. After a rise in income, quantity purchase fall. So here in the diagram, income effect equals to the green arrow shows X0, X2, and in panel B, the green arrow and its second bracket shows the income effect. And we can also see that the income effect is larger in panel B. Now we shall see the substitution effect. In case of substitution effect, after price fall, real income keeping unchanged, for relatively low price, ME by P increases to shift the curve from M2 to M1, and marginality of money curve stays at M0 because we are keeping income unchanged. This results in an increase in purchase by X2, X1, X2, X1. That means consumers purchases now OX1, which is greater than OX2 by X2, X1. So the substitution effect is here X2, X1 in panel A, and panel B is yellow arrow X2, X1. And also we can see that the substitution effect is smaller in panel B than in panel A. Now adding these effects, we can calculate the price effect. Here in panel A, X0, X2 plus X2, X1 equals to minus X2, X0. X0, X2 means minus X2, X0 plus X2, X1. So from X2, X1 deducting X2, X0, we get X1, X0, X1. So this is positive, and that means the good is inferior to a small extent. On the other hand, in panel B, X0, X2 plus X2, X1 equals to X0, X2 means minus X2, X0 plus X2, X1. A positive value less than the negative value, X2, X0, we get X0, X1, which is equals to minus X2, X, which is less than 0. That means the good is inferior to an extreme extent. It is a different good. So, my respectable and learned colleagues of economics and my dear students, I have disclosed, I have seen, I have shown you my thought, and can I say now, I have done it, I have been able to do it. Please make a comment. Any criticism, then make it openly. Any suggestion, put it down now. I am waiting eagerly. Thank you for giving your valuable time. Keep